Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the 2010 American Platform Tennis Association and our Nationals Committee, we would like to thank all of you for being a part of a very special Nationals for us here in Philadelphia. So thank you for being here. Over the last 4 days, we've had a lot of fun and a lot of great paddle, and an event like this cannot happen unless you've got a committee and a great team of people working together, and you've got a great set of sponsors. And at this time, I would like to thank our two title sponsors, Marvin and Palmer Associates and Beach Investment Council. Thank you. And this show wouldn't have been the same show without these courts being here. And for that, we thank David Dodge and we thank Premier Platform Tennis. You also might have noticed that every time a ball went out of the court, we had a few more to take its place. And for that, we thank Viking, David Jeltsin, and John Embry. Vikings, thank you.
On my right and serving first from Newton, Massachusetts,
Johan Durant. His partner from Mystic, Connecticut, soon to be Charleston, South Carolina, Jerry Albright. On my left and receiving. Normally no introduction, but we're doing it anyway. These 8-time national champion and Hall of Famers in the final again. From Grand Rapids, Michigan, Flip Goodspeed. And from Chicago, Scott Mansinger. Here we go, gentlemen.
Go right into that Australian formation to try to mitigate the damage that Scott could do off his return.
What a way to start the match with a big bomb forehand off the screen. It's one of his favorite shots.
So yeah, it's good.
Johan's got to serve like a tennis server. He left leg launches. He launches in unlike the traditional servers who roll in. The Hank Irvine school, the old school way. There's more new school servers launching in.
15-0.
And you had mentioned earlier about the two different styles of play between the Hall of Famers, Goodspeed and Mansinger, who are now returning, the Albrights and Durant, and it really is an interesting contrast in style and play that as the viewers go through this and get to really watch it.
Real quickly on that, you don't hit a crease overhead unless you aim for it. Right there, Jerry took dead aim at the crease and he hit the spot. There's a clean winner, which doesn't happen too often in this game.
Yeah. But would you say that what are some of the things that they might be looking for as we watch the video and the average club player? What are some of the things that we're going to see?
I just think the lob in the green, drive in the blue, I guess it's purple. I mean, you start there with the cardinal rule of paddle, waiting it out for the right ball to drive. I think at any level, you're going to play that game, and those who get a little extra aggressive end up coming up short. But Johan, on the other hand, is one guy, along with a guy like Brian Uline, that can go ahead and take over a match single-handedly and be more aggressive with that new style of paddle that we're starting to see more of.
Yeah, and it's, I think one thing, too, that you can take from this is even at the highest level in the finals of the national championship, the majority of the points that we've seen already in the first game, how many of them had ended on an error as opposed to ending on a winner?
Well, at the end of the day, the one thing you don't want to be in this game is the point ender. And unlike tennis, where there's a lot more winners hit, this is a game of not making errors. And those who are the point enders aren't feeling too good about themselves a lot of the time. So the person who has a need for speed here is going to come out on the short end of the stick. There you watch Scott. He's got the more traditional paddle serve, which just goes to show there's no one right way or wrong way, but there's a better way for everybody, whatever works for you. Although I will say Johan's style is the nouveau. More and more of that happening, where they launch in like tennis. Get some air.
And when you say more traditional, you look at Scott's ball toss is much further into the court, and so that kind of is a segue into the volley, and isn't exploding upward.
Gets him in quicker, but he's not going for as much on the serve. Not using his legs as much for power. He's just rolling in. Like walking downhill here. Great return. He sneaks in there. You know, when you watch him hit these overheads, it goes back to beginner tennis strategy 101 in singles. They're really just trying to hit everything to their backhands. And if they go out to a forehand, they got to be very careful. So they're just trying to locate. You can see Flip jumping around, showing that maybe he'll drive. But at the end of the day, they're playing backhands, just like beginner tennis. They're trying to get a cheapie in the corner, in the short corner.
And you generally, one of the strategies that you might see there is where they switched on those overheads. I think they're trying to get Johan to hit the majority of the overheads.
Switch back right there, another switch back just because of the good lob. And the question is, why are they lobbing over there? Why are Flip and Scott lobbing? Well, they're lobbing so they get the drive. They're lobbing, so eventually, there it is. The only reason you're lobbing is to get them off the net, and at this level, somebody's going to get a drive eventually. Great lob. Scott would like to have that one back. He will make that shot 99 out of 100 times. Just a little lack of concentration maybe, but after a long point like that, nobody feels more bad about it than Scott right now. Great volley. Skip's feet, or excuse me, Flip's feet are always moving. Always moving.
You know, and I think another thing that, you know, as the viewer kind of gets into the match a little bit more, you can see that the different volleying positions on the court, you know, and Scott Mansker has made a career of volleying off the net. And I think that, you know, if as the average man, volleying from that off the net is obviously a very difficult play. You know, and I think that one thing that we want to see is how well does that are they going to be able to exploit that?
That's a good point, Mike, because Scott does play off the net a little bit, so there may be times where they can hit a little roller, a little top spin that gets down to his feet, but they can blitz, or even a soft little chip. Johan likes to mix it up the speeds a little bit, and good try on that overhead. He almost got the crease. They're taking dead aim for it. When they go for it, they're taking dead aim on it.
And I think when we talk about balls that you want to see, the players might want to take back. Flip probably will, through the day that he's missing that little drive into the net there. As we teach everybody, you don't miss drives in the net.
No. Worst mistake in paddle tennis is in the net. Most of the players are tennis players first, so anything at the shoulders, their instincts are to hit it anyhow. So by hitting it in the net, you are committing the grave error. That's his first fault. Again, great teams do a lot of huddling. Always moving it around, mixing it up, keeping the returners guessing. And you got a quick point out of it. So often you make that one adjustment, go Australian, go high, and they will dump it in the net or make a loose error. Just give them a different look. Spooks them a little bit, Mikey.
I think it does. Makes that returner think about what's, you know, how do I need to change to keep that pressure on the volleyers.
What a volley. Look how deep that volley was. I mean, again, look at the difference. Look where Scott is, look where Flip is. And again, great communication there. You heard Scott call him off it. Call that front person the air traffic controller. They're always talking, hit, don't hit, and help out your partner when they're going after a deep lob.
You know, and as they're going through the first couple games, what are some things that you find that, you know, maybe, you know, the teams are looking for, and what's going through their minds as they're playing?
Well, they're looking for a weakness. They're looking for, at this level, and it might be something so small that then to exploit it takes a lot of patience. You got to keep searching and probing until they find a little something that gives them an advantage. I like the way Flip lobs. He really has a good lobbing pattern. He tries to work the lobs there again. There's that peg overhead volley, whatever you want to call it. There's more and more of that going on in the game. Some don't like it. Some say it's part of the game. I think once you walk in that cage for a national championship, anything goes.
Well, I mean, I think that you know, the hard part about this game is this level, as you're saying, you know, the service game is, you know, and how long the points are lasting. That, you know, people will say, well, there's no penalty for a bad lob, and you know, if a play like that can keep that baseline team, you know, off balance or, you know, feeling the pressure that they will be penalized for a bad lob. I think it's almost a necessity to have the ability to punish them, and really not punish them in the sense that you know, you're trying to hurt anybody, but you are trying to knock them off balance.
It doesn't tickle when you're on the receiving end of one of those things, for sure. So you are getting punished, and those short lobs nowadays, either with the heater right at you or the extra sizzle spin shots that do funny things on the wires, you're paying a little more of a price.
And here, I think you know, again, they can look and notice the positioning, and again, Scott's, you know, 3 steps off Flip's inside hip on that volley.
He's closer to the service line than the net, so Johan just threw a little slider in there to make him volley up. He might even slide and blitz off of that at some point in time. See, he's starting to see what the tendencies are of his opponents, and they'll make adjustments as they go. Rich Mayer always used to say, Rod, never lob long. And there's no reason to do it because you can't put the ball away. So Johan, not quite as bad as hitting the drive in the net, because there's still a chance the smasher could go ahead and try to fetch it and hit an out ball, but not too much of a chance. Look at that. They knew the volley was short. Give the net up. Get back there and fight from the backcourt. I mean, that's the thing, Mikey, is what percentage of the players that play are more comfortable winning points in the back than in front? I mean, generally the team at the net has the advantage, right?
I generally would say so, but you look at some of the offense coming from like here, the offense coming out of that outside, some would argue that, you know, they almost feel 50-50 that if they're, you know, they haven't lost anything if they've lost the net, especially on a warmer day with a bouncy ball.
Well, that's the way you want it to be. I mean, look at Johan, no problem. Ball's lob. We're just going to go back here, start all over again. Start it up. We can win back here just as easily as we can. There, now we got Jerry out of corner. He's a forehand player, got in the backhand, made an unforced error that he's not too happy about right now. Got a long game here, don't we?
Boy. And it goes to show you that, you know, how difficult it is to hold serve. And here we have arguably one of the best players to ever play the game. And, you know, we're 10 minutes into a service game here. And they're working hard to hold serve.
There's some quick pressure. You know, again, a forced error. Johan blitzed. Scott had a routine volley, but out of the corner of his eye, he saw something in black moving very quickly. And going back to the long game, these are the types of games that win and lose matches. The longer the game goes, the more important it becomes. You want to win the long games. You want to send a message to your opponent that the longer the game, what a shot there. Because that's a backbreaker, that's a spirit breaker. When you lose a long game and you had 3 or 4, 6 ads, I mean, everybody who plays paddle has an example of a game maybe that had 20 deuces in it. I can remember a few, and you want to win those. It gives you momentum. What a lob volley Flip just hit. No panic.
You know, and I think we're going to see that a lot, where we get one player will hit the big drive between the team, and you know, for the average player, I think that the instruction is always that we're going to advance to the net as a team when the ball is either lobbed over the team or driven through. But you know, here you're seeing the one player kind of go up in an I formation, and almost if the ball's too hot, they let it go through to the back screen, and the player in the back can obviously drive that ball again.
And he can also play cleanup. You know, he goes to the back and just plays cleanup if anything gets by. Johan, for example, when he blitzes up there, Jerry's just back there to cover anything that gets by him. It's a great play. One up, one back in that scenario. Here we go. Signals. How many players use signals in paddle tennis?
Do you think he was signaling him to fault line there?
I don't know if he was or not.
I don't think that was part of the plan.
Just had a little conversation with him. I doubt it. Another lob long.
15-40.
Temperature out here is about, I think, 38 degrees on game time.
Game, good speed, Mansinger. They lead 2 games to 1.
Now, not only do you not want to be the point ender in this game, even worse to be the game ender. In that situation, Jerry faults on out. And that is a cardinal sin. Make him earn it. It's so hard to win points in paddle straight up. You don't want to give away anything. Flip right on top of that net and drive through a wall.
I think one thing that, you know, other thing that, you know, as the viewers are watching this, they should be looking for is that the overhead placement, how it's imperative to keep the ball in positions that are very difficult to drive from.
Wow.
And like there, that ball was landing short near the service line, and, you know.
In the wheelhouse.
Yep, Johan made him pay.
Johan had a little snap.
And
oh boy, I think he tried to get a piece of flip, and the contortionist flip he was able to stay clear and unforced error to go down 40 love. Look at that on the rise, big surprise, as we say. If you want to hit a good return, you learn how to take that thing early on the rise like Johan does, and that's back and flips lap before he can go boo. Only because he moves forward and catches it early. What makes a great return of serve? You got to move forward and shorten up your backswing. Catch it on the rise, give them a big surprise.
I think noticing here with their setup on the return, you'll see how Scott is, you know, as the returner's partner, will be anticipating an aggressive offensive drive and is almost playing inside the baseline to kind of clean up any trash that might come. He also gives him an opportunity to blitz if it's a really good return. So
that's some options.
Yeah.
Lucky leg cord. A few more leg cords in this game than in tennis, huh, Mike?
I think so, but the interesting thing is that, you know, they don't always end the point. You know, very often it just kind of spices things up.
Things get interesting. Johan's trying to jam, flipping that ad court. That's a tough ball to drive. There's very few that can drive some of those big kick serves in the ad court. We're trying to jam them up.
And I think an interesting thing here you're going to see too is that Flip and Scott will, through the course of the point, when they're in the back court, you'll see them switch sides of the court. And you know, I think Scott is such a strong returner out of that deuce side that you know, after the point gets started, they'll move Flip over into the deuce.
Right there, they just did it right off the bat because of the serve. Scott is, I think, 2 for 2 on that shot already, but Flip knew right away. Slide on over. The left hand knows what the right hand's doing here. Not their first rodeo.
But they also will, not only due to, a great serve like that with the big action off the back screen, but just in the course of the point, to give their opponents a different look and a different person in that corner. They'll switcheroo and
exactly. The back-to-back games where they faulted on game point. Johan was the game ender with a fault. Game before the Jerry serve, same thing. Don't want to be the game ender with fault. There we go. Again, the drop shot wins the point. It's the only shot in paddle you're trying to hit the winner. Even if you don't hit a winner, you get them out of position. What happened there? Johan made an uncharacteristic, unforced error there. Great hands with the flip. Scott's trying to figure out where to serve this ball so it doesn't get crunched. There's that Gomer Powell shot, Mikey.
The Gomer Powell, what's that, Rodney?
That's the surprise, surprise, surprise. That back screen, side screen drive is the toughest one to read. You just can't tell where it's going. They can pull a cross court up the middle or roll it up the line, but that one makes me nervous when my partner hits a hard ball backside on the net. Another one in the net. I remind my students all the time, don't ever hit them in the net. It reminds me of my favorite Broadway show, No No Nanette. Do not hit it there. Give them a chance to hit an out ball.
I think that applies to especially those weekend warriors out there that, come out for, by golly, we're going to play every chance we get, and we're going to play every ball that we get. That, you see, it's one of the easiest ways to win the point, yet it's one of the most difficult things to do, to let that puppy go.
What do we always teach, Mike? It's shoulder high, let her fly.
I think so.
In tennis, that ball's in, and paddle, it's out high percentage of the time, wouldn't you say?
I think so. And as we're getting into this match, it's interesting to see kind of how they're starting to kind of find a little bit better rhythm, cleaning things up. And I think the player that's not hitting the overhead, if you watch and see what role they're going to be playing at the net, they're generally in a protector type situation. And as we saw here,
wow, what a shot!
The ball is dumped into a forehand drive, and there's
Flip just learned that, Flip just learned if he doesn't put some stick on that ball, those guys are going to hit some kung fu drop shots.
And again, it can tell you how important it is as the player not hitting the ball, the off player at the net, that, Jerry's eyes are not, or Johan in this situation, his eyes aren't focused on his partner hitting the overhead. He's paying attention to, the team that can hurt him, the people that can hurt him on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So, your job when you're hitting that overhead is, to hit the overhead and not try to get hurt with a short ball. But you have to have that protection of your partner.
Good serve. There we go. With the backhands. Again, I love the way Johan, no panic. He's very comfortable back where he is, but if I had his forehand, I would too. Once again, they hit a drive with no pace on it.
The protector jumping up there and making them pay. You drop, you do.
Game, new run, all right. Mansinger gets me lead 4-3.
Flip serving at 4-3, first set.
Up a break, but it doesn't quite mean as much as it does on the tennis court, does it?
It surely doesn't. Hank Irvine, the godfather of platform tennis, always used to say the advantage was always to the return server. You only get one, so you can't go too big. You got to get it in, so the returners have the advantage.
And I think too that the fact that you only get one, but you're landing it so shallow in the court, net is so high, and you know, the server has to serve and volley behind it. Usually, it makes it a very daunting task.
The serves have changed a lot in the last 10 years. 10 years, they've gotten bigger. They're serving bigger serves. I've been watching paddle for 28 years, so I've seen the evolution of the power game come into paddle. Before it was strictly vanilla. You know, you drove in the purple, you lob in the green, be patient. Don't hit it too hard. Now they're hitting it big, especially in the ad court. They're jamming the righties are jamming the righties. There's a lot of kick serves to that side screen.
I don't really think he's sorry for that, though, you know, but you got to do it.
Good sportsmanship.
Yep. And I think that, you know, you look at the team of Albrechts and Durant and how strong, you know, Jerry is, and I don't know if we've even mentioned it. You know, you look at the offense that he's bringing from the deuce side. You know, he's got a two-handed backhand and a great forehand, and it, you know, it's a great compliment because they can't just go to him with impunity.
Right. Gotta provide some offense to him. You can't just throw it over there because he will attack it. He's got sneaky, fast drives, and he can hit that two-hander off the screen too. Scott's trying to jam him over there right into his body. That hard roller into the body. He's got a lot of spin. It's tough to handle. I've been on the receiving end of that thing many times. There it is. That's what we were just talking about. Great volleys by Flip. Look at these guys. Making it look easy. There it is, right in the crease, and Johan still gets it. Look at him jump over there. Jump just a little bit on that backhand. He's got to stay down on it. Not happy, it went in the net.
You know, we talk about kind of the changes and evolution of the game and with the serves, and you know, I think that the athleticism is off the charts. But you know, what other things would you say are kind of lending itself to this kind of increased power and spins? And I mean, how much of that has to do with the equipment?
A little bit. The paddles have definitely gotten better. I mean, it's no longer a quarter-inch piece of plywood. Some holes punched in it. It's gotten more absorbent, more cushiony. But that serve right there that Johan hit, nobody used to hit those serves like that. Nobody really even considered it. Look at the Eastern backhand grip. He's all the way over. Now there he's got more spin on that one. That's where two-time national champion Brian Uline hits that in the deuce court, where he will serve it up the middle like Johan did, extra spin, and get it all the way to the side screen in the ad court. Earlier in this match, Johan has not been getting it over there far enough. And what's Scott been doing with it? He's stepping around, hitting bomb forehands off the screen.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Might get the super turbocharged on that, but look at Johan just sniffing that out.
And going with that protection of the player, you know, his partner sitting the overhead, and Johan stepping over and looking to help out. I think that's a part of it, is that, you know, that awesome tennis background that he's had. You know, it's like he's playing just at a different speed.
Well, and let's talk about that for a second, and how, you know, the tennis does lend itself perfectly to segue into paddle tennis. I mean, look at this. It's like a 747 coming into the net, sticking that volley, and Scott had no option but to try the tweener between the legs, and came up a hair short. Here we go. Is this serving for the first set?
5 serving 4.
And get ahead, stay ahead. Just like pitching, you want to get that first pitch strike. You want to get that first point of every game. Get ahead and stay ahead. Put the pressure on your opponents. I'm a big believer of playing to the score in this game, and right now the return is down a little bit, on the brink of losing the first set. Might need to be a little more conservative. But everybody plays a little different. And there's Johan going for a big bomb now. They're in a big hole. 2 points away from letting this get away in the first set. Great serve. Look at that return, Mike.
Well, it's amazing how these guys are so good at being able to read that nick or that that crease ball, and more times than not, the ball hits the crease, and one of the team members is able to make such an athletic move and keep that ball in play.
And here we are, 40-love triple set point. Going back to that first point, Jerry didn't get the ball in play. There's 2 rules of paddle. Rule number 1, get the ball in play. Rule number 2, keep the ball in play. Some people throw in rule number 3, look good while doing it, but optional. There it is. That was quick. That was the quickest game of the first set.
Yep.
And Flip and Scott win the first set 6-4, and they're 1 set away from a national championship. That would be their 9th.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Signaling to Johan. Same way to start first point of the first set. Look at this. Look
The dump roll to the player off the net and the blitz in behind it.
That was tremendous. People don't realize how good that was right there. Johan's ability to get in there and hit off-speed stuff. There's that peg volley overhead that didn't draw flesh. There we go. Flip needs to do more of that. Take that aim and hit it. But the problem with that peg overhead volley, that if you miss and they can run it down,
You got to give up the net.
you're going to give the net up. You got some problems. Here we go again. You see, Johan knew not to even come to the net that time. He's just seen enough of that show and stay back and let Scott hit the forehand and take the net over.
And at some point, I think that you've got players in the wrong sides here in the backcourt that they should be looking to make a switch if they can and get Durant back into that ad side, but I should take the net over.
Another Johan got Flip again. Little punch volley, and
That is a very, very good serve that maybe Flip thought was a little out.
in baseball they call it a jammy sandwich. So you get the baseball pitch in on the fists and break bats. That's what that is. It's a jammy sandwich. Forces Skip to hit that with alligator arms. He can't get his arms extended, so even if he hits it, it's going to be weak. Good choice. I like the way Scott tried to go at the net player, tried to go at Jerry. I love the way they just let that go around. Johan doesn't even move. He knows the double wire screen shot, side back's going to go right through his partner Jerry. Not happy.
Another missed lob long.
That's his 3rd or 4th one, and that's what he's very cross with himself about.
30-40.
Now again, they don't want to get broken. Break point. This is a huge point right here. And you go down a break early after you just lost the first set. You're going to have a good point here. Patience.
And it's real interesting to watch the placement of the majority of the lobs here, and you see it kind of be lobbing from both players. They're lobbing the ball down into that deuce corner behind where Jerry is standing in the red right now. There's so many of the balls being lobbed into that position with draw players either together as a team or draw them off the net, creating movement and confusion that, in the ultimate goal to set up that drive.
Yeah.
And Scott wants that one back.
I mean, when you get a chance with some of these camera angles, watch Flip's feet. I don't know Flip's exact age, but I know he's moving up on the 50 range. There's the old,
he's about 47 because they won the national 45s 2 years ago. So
you watch his feet for his age. I mean, the guy's also a scratch golfer. He's a tremendous athlete, and when you get a chance, watch those feet.
I get tired just watching them run.
I know. I'm going to need a nap here in a minute. There we are, just trying to play neutral, trying to hit these overheads, good high lobs. These guys go up high, they go upstairs. And again, why are they lobbing? So they can drive. That's what they're trying to do here. And now we're getting real nice.
And I think there's, again, where Jerry has been protecting, laid off that one, but
You should have kept one, eh?
Should have, yep. You're going to make the move. You better make sure you make it.
There it is. That's a great drive. Look at that. Oh, hit the deuce. Back-to-back bombs. Again, another break point. Again, the biggest point of the match right here. Like that cross-court lob. Trying to get Jerry to hit this ball. You know, if he can get Jerry, if Scott can get Jerry to hit the lobs here. That's, see what Flip did? And they just switched. So you're seeing something you don't see a lot of. They switch a lot.
It would not be something I think that we teach and would recommend. You know, the tennis instinct is that, you know, ball goes over your head, you cover for me, we switch. Tends to muddy the water, I think, a little bit too much in the game. But obviously, we're talking about the creme de la creme here, and it is something that works for them.
Back to deuce. They had their chances. You're only going to get so many of them. There it is again. Another. That's a good drive up the line. It's varying the speeds on that, just like a pitcher and batter. That will mess up the timing. Back to deuce.
Good shot.
And interesting.
We got a question here.
Yep, they've made a mistake on the line call, and this differentiates, I think, that paddle from tennis, that the ball was returnable. And when a mistake was made on the line call, you play let paddle. In tennis, it would be a loss of point because the ball was returnable.
And there again, missed the lob long. And the two things you never want to do: drive in the net and lob long. And especially in a point-ending, game-ending situation. And you just battled your brains off for 10 minutes. I go back to what I was saying earlier. The longer the game, the more you want to win it. The more you want to dig your heels in and grind it out. That'll break the spirit. Look at that shot.
Well, the old adage down the middle solves the riddle there, Rodney. You notice that, you know, the majority of these drives are not winners, but they're hitting to very specific spots on the court or to the opponents.
It's a Coach Foch original.
And you have, you know, that ball that's hit between the two players is probably the greatest confusion point on the court.
Well, you got to use it. You got to use it early and often, and try to find that little tiny hole there, which is there. Only seen it a couple times today, though. Great lob. See, look at that. They both stay, everybody stay back out of respect for the forehand. They know they're going to get a bomb coming at them. Stay back and try to drive the next one off the screen.
Oh, boy.
Maybe it's warming up just enough that those lobs that were in the first set early are going to start going out now, because temperature does affect the ball, huh, Mike?
I think so, and Scott might have a temperature of his own. He normally doesn't miss any lots long. For two games.
All right. All Bryce and Durant did exactly what they had to do. They had to come out and make a statement, but we are not going down without a fight. And we plan on going the distance. There it is. Looks like singles paddle there, huh, Mike?
You don't see much singles paddle, but boy, oh boy.
One up, one back. Wow. Jerry's got that pinpoint footwork. He brings his back foot up on his serve, loads up on the platform and explodes in. So he also has tennis footwork on the serve. It sort of dictates their age. The new kids coming in serve like they do on the tennis court, where Flip and Scott distinguish their footwork more on the paddle, serve more like old school paddle. The way all of us are taught by Hank Irvine.
And we'll sweep with that right foot with the lower ball toss and kind of drawing it into the court.
Yeah, I mean, he has both feet behind the line as he hits, where, good shot. You have Scott's right leg is actually broken the plane of the baseline when he makes contact, which is perfectly legal. Giving signals, just like a pitcher and a catcher. More of the same there. Great volley.
Well, and this is really a tough, I mean, this could be a big time for Scott and Flip to, you know, not let the set get away from them. You know, one break is not that big of a deal, so if they can dig in and, like you said, dig their heels and try to kind of keep the pressure on the serving team here.
Well, the thing about paddle tennis, as we all know that have played it, unlike tennis and squash, no lead is big enough. That comebacks in paddle tennis are far more common than in the other sports. I mean, again, you can talk about the one serve has a lot to do with it. A fault here, fault there. There's a nice crease overhead to the short corner.
Yeah.
Short corner being the same side that he's hitting from. And most overheads are hit cross court towards the opposite corner. That's the long corner. But more winners are hit the short corners up the net than the long corner.
But now, what your students, what percentage of them are you telling to attack that corner?
Only when the ball is very, very short. The lob is short, and they don't have to take more than 2 steps back, if that. It's got to be an easier, shorter lob where they can hold their close proximity to the net. 80–90% are going cross court. We're seeing right here. Look at that, how quick he is. Here's he dumps it into the backhand, or dumps it into the backhand. Now flips off the net, so Jerry thought he'd take a crack at it. They jammed him, he let it go. There's a good cutter.
Well, and there's that cover for the player that's not hitting the overhead. You'll notice that when that drive is coming, both players are advancing, closing on the net. But boy, if Scott's hitting the overhead, you'll see how quickly Flip is closing down, or vice versa.
Great point. Great point. At least he missed it long. There was a chance.
15 love.
One of those guys could have stuck a paddle on at least, but great point. Now, if this thing goes 3, are we thinking one team has an advantage over the other?
Well, you look at the scores of the last, you know, in the semifinals, Scott and Flip, you know, had an extremely long match against Marino and Uline, and you know, Durant and Albrights, they had a relatively quick one. It was, I think, 6-0, 6-2. So.
And they're much younger, so I'd have to give the edge to younger guys, because this is a marathon. These tournaments. What a point! Again, they are volleying so well, Jerry and Johan,
15-0.
making it tough.
And they do make it look extremely easy. All 4 are such, you know, incredible volleyers. I think that, you know, it doesn't, the speed of the game, you know, they're making it look too easy.
As they always say, it's hard work making it look easy, and we are certainly making it look easy. It's very enjoyable to watch. See, that's the questionable choice from Scott.
15-40.
Sort of a Hail Mary shot to hit the crease. He probably would have liked just to throw that thing up and start over in the back. And do a little roper doping in the backcourt. Look at this, look at this, look at this.
Again, as we talked about at the beginning of the match, you know, is that something that they're going to be able to exploit?
Well, he changed speed so well. He hit 2 bombs, then he goes with an off speed down low, closes in, 747 up to the net. What are you going to do? I mean, there's no place Scott can hit that ball. we've seen this show before, and what a ball, what a ball. I mean, again, we'd have to say that's Scott's best shot.
It's almost that there's no place to hide when you're serving to Scott Manser in the deuce side. You know, he can go try to go hard off the back screen, and you see what happens there. Okay, let's make him hit it off the deck, and it's kind of pick your poison. And
these guys like Johan and Brian Uline serving in the deuce court is a problem a lot of the times, because it's hard to get the ball to stay down. It comes off the screen, and you hit it with that much spin and that much force, and it becomes a meatball some of the times for these top players.
But I think, you know, as again, as you know, we teach students as the servers, you know, your number one goal, your priority here is priority number one to get the ball to play, number two to move that thing around, number three to hit it with spin, and, you know, lastly, maybe with some pace. You know, but bottom line is you got to get the ball in play.
Three most important words of serving at this level and most levels is location, location, location. And you got to locate it. Your center key, side key targets. You don't have a body serve in this unless you're Johan, who can throw the gas possibly right at these guys. But still, he's going the center key or the side key predominantly, and try to keep your returners guessing a little bit with that move. A bit of a poach.
Overhead.
Well, he got him pinned in the corner, and he made Scott pay.
But I think too, you see there the threat of that bomb that he's been hitting with the rolling ball at the players in the backcourt on the short lob. Scott now has to respect it there, and he didn't know what he was going to do, so he had to hold and basically protect, and then he got caught.
And not only the big bomb roller, but the drop shot.
Yeah.
So he's got to move in a step to respect the drop shot, which is why I teach all my students, you got to have some form of drop shot, just so that your opponents can't just put their backs on the screen and stay back there. Look at that. Oh my gosh.
I tell you, it's interesting to see the evolution of the game. And, you know, in the last 5 to 8 years, that rolling top spin overhead, you know, at any speed, has come into the game. And that was a shot that, you know, wasn't there before.
That ball, when it hits the wires, it holds the wires better. It keeps the ball down lower. And when you're a right-hander going into the deuce court or the side screen in the deuce court, it bites. Just like the slice overhead in the ad court, it bites. And so those spins now are being used so much more. Nice try, flip. They're letting this thing get away from them. And the other side is Jerry. Johan is gaining some momentum here. Look at this again. I mean, Johan's batting about 70% on that move, Mike, and that's a move that will really wreak havoc on any good solid team, a traditional team. You get somebody blitzing in like that, and you're not used to seeing a whole lot of that, or players being able to do that against you, that creates problems.
Well, the one only true defense against something like that is that, you know, if you are off the net, you've got to kind of beat him to the spot and get to the net. And kind of close the gap so he can't work the ball at your feet to initiate that blitz. But easier said than done, being the Sunday morning quarterback here that we are. Boy.
And not only does he hit the line, he hits the crease.
Double win.
Scott had everything covered but that shot.
30-40.
He's starting to get in a groove on that forehand.
It's almost like he's casting a much larger shadow too, with him taking over more of the points and more of the court.
He's just starting to stick his nose out towards the middle. There he goes. And here he comes. Look at this. Look at that. That's a good ham and egg play there. They have played many hours together to know how to move like that. And then a cardinal sin. One of the two cardinal sins, Mike,
Missing that lob long? He sure didn't miss a drive in the net.
Not happy. Second worst mistake he can make. Great drive right on the center mark there. Trying to roll that in there and get it to bite on the side. Look at them cover like that. Here we go. Nice shot flip.
No, and you look at the effectiveness of that shot, and I think they're batting about 50-50 now. You know,
but it certainly is an attention getter to Scott and Flip, and it's something else they got to worry about. Look at this. Look at him surge in on that net. I mean, that's a big cat, isn't it? He is a big cat. Moving extremely well. Look at him. He's right on the net. His partner, you talk about the protector. I started to call it, I'll scratch your back if you scratch my back. I'll cover the lob, but you cover the lob.
Yeah.
And it's the scratch back principle. And here goes Jan. See? Jerry takes the deep lob. They take turns scratching each other's back. Happy.
And you see the development. This is again.
Look where he is right there. He's all in the green. He's giving him room. Sorry.
This is a great, looking at this entire point, the placement of the outside lobber from Scott, or Flip, sorry, how he keeps attacking that ball and lobbing it into that deuce quadrant, the deep deuce quadrant there.
It was back in.
And can just kind of wreak havoc.
Right there.
Kind of trying to find where Johan is now and trying to find that inside hit.
And looking at
or inside shoulder.
Scott looked, just a hair tired there, didn't get turned on the forehand and just tried to nudge that ball over. Definitely had them off the net. Jerry's back a little bit, but he's gonna. We will see better next time.
Advantage, good speed.
You got to stop the bleeding right here.
This could be a big hold.
Paddle sets a game of streaks. You can hold, and here he comes again. Look at that.
Incredible.
That's relentless pressure. I mean, he gets the high ones, he gets the low ones.
And it's really interesting to see how that pressure can have a direct effect on Scott and Flip's kind of.
Yeah, and look here, Jerry just hits a nice solid vanilla return right where it's supposed to go. Clear the net at the center strap. Skip makes an unforced error, but
and then falls.
Game, Duran Albrights, they lead 5 games to 1.
Jerry Albrights to serve at 5-1. The second set, serving for it, but as we were talking about earlier, Mike, no lead is big enough in paddle tennis.
You see those momentum shifts, how fast and furious they can be.
I've played a lot of sports, but there's been none that can compare to paddle tennis in those shifting of leads.
And that is not how you're going to get your friend momentum to turn.
No,
you've got to be looking to work the point.
Well, you've got Scott and Flip, maybe the smartest team that's ever played the game. You don't have a resume like they have without playing from the neck up. And here they are playing 2 phenomenal athletes, and younger, maybe a little faster, but here they are competing, and they're in this match. But wow, it's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out. This is a heck of a point here.
Really, I think one of the most appealing things about this game is just how fast and furious these points are.
You see that shot that he just hit? It hit the seam, right? And he was able to make the adjustment Johan did. And that's the bad bounce in this game that you can get. You can get some caroms off the screen. Look at the hands of Flip. Big drive.
Oh, it was in.
Wow.
That's the point of the turn.
Wow.
Right there. Point of the match, at least.
Johan must play a little squash.
Look back at that and think that could be the shot or the point that really tips the scale.
And that's where right now it looks like everything's going their way. Jerry and Johan are riding the wave of momentum. I love the way Johan barks out you. I mean, he shows a sense of urgency in his calls to Jerry. I mean, There is no uncertain terms on what he wants to have happen out there.
You know, and here we've got 3 points in this final game, or in this game, and you've got Scott has made uncharacteristically, he missed the drive in the net, and you know he hasn't missed the volley since the Nixon administration, and here it is, you know, trying to fight to stay in the set.
Well, this is mentally and emotionally draining. It's a long tournament. They played a lot of paddle, and now they're in the what a drive in the match of the tournament. Johan, look at him. Look at this guy. He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
Wow,
look at that. Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, that's an amazing display of paddle tennis.
40-15.
Goes into the corner. Going for the short corner. There's that short corner I was talking about.
I couldn't tell the students that it's a little bit running with scissors when you're hitting into that short corner. You know, it don't always go bad.
You can get hurt.
You can get hurt.
You don't get it over that screen and you lay it on someone's forehand, you better have a helmet on. Look at these guys. I mean, they hit the crease again. Flip, hits the crease. Look at this move. Wow. I mean, that's adding more momentum right there with point game and second set.
Game and second set. Do run all right. Final set.
Here we go with the rubber set, and it's paramount for Scott and Flip to get on the board early here and to stop the hemorrhaging. I mean, we have said it many times earlier, this is the ultimate racket sport of momentum, and right now the momentum's with youth.
I think that, you know, looking at what Scott and Flip need to do, it's you know, they need to come up with a way to kind of slow the game back down and neutralize some of the offense. And you see how much, even in the first point here, that Johan is controlling the middle of the court in the back court.
He's hit every ball in this point. And like you say, if they don't get some balls to Jerry, if Johan keeps going, he seems to be becoming that freight train rolling down the tracks, and Jerry's just playing ultra smart, playing his role like a champ.
Even there, that miss, I like that miss of Jerry coming over and protecting and looking to help.
He's doing his job. He's doing his job. He's just a hair late getting to the ball, maybe a little tired. So here we go. This is all for all the marbles right here.
Oh, boy.
And you got to keep the ball away from the big cat. He is on fire.
15 off.
You and I have played enough to know that when you get a hot player, what do you got to do, Mike?
Stay away.
You mess with fire, you get burned. There you see, he's got so much confidence right now. He's blitzing on everything. Look at Scott. Give him Skip a good look at the corner if he wants to go there. And once again, are you kidding me?
Another line. And things are going right, Rod. You know what they say.
And the rains of pores for Scott and Flip. And it's all sunshine over here on youth side.
You say youth. I mean, I don't think Jerry Albrechts is a spring chicken here, Rod. But, you know, he is riding a stallion. So
I don't know if it's polite to ask age at this juncture. I can honestly say I don't know, but I guess Johan's about 31, 32.
And I think Jerry's 40. So.
Well, all I know is Scott and Flip are in the senior division.
Yeah, that's right.
And Jerry seems to be happy-footed out there. Look at those feet. See, even in between the points, look at them. They're bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. Their footwork intensity is much higher than Scott and Flip's at this juncture. I think it's safe to say.
You know, and Scott is in a relatively deep hole, and I think the pressure of not the moment, but the pressure of you know, you're looking back at the last two sets. You know, Johan's pressure, I think, is forcing a lot of these uncharacteristic mistakes that we're seeing.
Without any question, Mike. You played against some of the best players in the country, and when they get hot and they're coming in the net with that new aggressive style of paddle, You can almost call it tennis paddle, which very few can pull off, but there are a couple. It gets tough. It's tough to find holes to hit to. Here we are, just playing patient, rope-a-doping in the backcourt, trying to locate the overheads so you don't give them a meatball. Here we go. Look at the big cat at the net. Johan's footwork intensity on the 10 scale, I got to go about 13, Mike.
Well, it really is an interesting, again, getting back to seeing, Flip miss that lob. It is something that I haven't seen. That constant pressure.
They're feeling it. And like we said, if they don't stop the bleeding here soon. Good target of the overhead, right in the Scott's backhand.
Notice though that's...
And look, their ball's out. They let one go. Theirs is out. Jerry's and Johan's are all catching the line. Game of inches. There's that serve I was talking about earlier that Uline hits a lot of. He got it to the side screen, but obviously he missed it. But that makes it much more effective. Great lob up the line. Those lobs up the line are invaluable.
But you notice when you say up the line, we are still talking about that area behind where Jerry is, as the outside on the deuce side, kind of in front of Flip. But even when Scott's lobbing, he's attacking kind of that similar spot.
Mm-hmm.
With the intent of really setting up the drive.
Great serve there. Scott was looking to drive another one off the middle, and Johan threw out a wide one, mixing it up nicely.
And I think, another thing to notice too for the average player here is, what percentage of these lobs that they're hitting are they getting behind their opponent? And I think that's something that gets lost to a lot of people, is that, the intent of the lob is not to get in behind those players at the net.
Just push them back a few steps.
Back, make a move to set an opportunity to drive.
Force some sort of weaker overhead.
Here we are. We're at love 2. Flip serving, love 15.
Look at the movement without the ball on the backcourt team. Now you know.
It rains and pours. There's another leg cord.
It's the power of momentum, and when you got it, you got it. And right now, Jerry and Johan are on fire. You can do no wrong. And so what should Flip and Scott do?
Well,
it's at the end of the day. Right now, Johan's hitting 80+% of the balls. You may want to just change and see what Jerry's going to do. If he gets every shot hit to him, is he going to be able to, finish the job? And we're almost at that point where you've got to go into some extreme strategy.
We're at 3 love down. That's a hole. But boy, you look at the standard operating procedure of if it ain't working,
let's go back to a number 3-4 years back, the national final when we were, I think, Mike Marino and Cochran were up 6-0, 3-0, and ended up losing the finals. So again, no lead is big enough, and right now, Scott and Flip still think they're going to win this match. They're fierce competitors, and got the crease, right? Wrote it right up the side.
15 up.
Wow.
Leg cord.
Wow.
Drop shot.
I mean, he's putting on a clinic. If ESPN was rolling this, they'd be having a highlight reel tonight.
Seeing it again, it's really interesting to think, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but you're seeing. I mean, it's an amazing thing to see Scott making these mistakes that he normally Doesn't make.
Power of momentum. I mean, it's amazing. Force. And it's happening so fast.
Backboard line. Winner.
Not easy to do. Hit the top of the net and then hit the side tee. And this has gotten away from him really quickly here. And right now, again, he's playing to the score. Look at that shot. Flip and Scott got to go total defensive mode and just try to rope-a-dope their way back in here. And these guys are just amping up the offense. Look at the footwork intensity. They can smell it. They're at the finish line and getting close to it. And Scott and Flip's finish line is not in the vision at this stage.
And there, I think they lost it in the sun, but again,
runaway freight train. The Hall of Famers need to right the ship.
and I think that,
Great shot. Hopefully that'll turn it around a little bit.
and that little helping volley there, sometimes going at a blitzer like that is the right play rather than trying to avoid them, take the ball to their feet and, try to take control of the point that way.
I think with Johan, the only strategy that might work a little bit at this stage when he's blitzing and he's just having free reign up there is you got to hit behind him. You got to hit it where he's supposed to be because he's never there. And he's going to be diving in towards the middle. So those aggressive players like that, you got to go behind them with accuracy, and maybe you can neutralize them a hair.
Boy, Jerry is just doing a superb job of putting his constant pressure on it with the good drives off the turn, but not going for too much and a lot of almost being again setting up with that first drive.
He's hitting the obvious. I mean, he'll hit the obvious. Right now, he's just doing his job. He's setting up Johan. Look at this play. Look at this play. I mean, Johan, a little stealth bomber move, sneaking in there. And now we got him out of corner. Jerry's playing wrong corner, and Flip's not happy.
And that's two missed overhead and missed high volley overhead there that you see again.
Well,
Uncharacteristic.
It's be a heck of a comeback, huh, Mike?
I think so. Now's the time.
It's now or never. Look at that. Just poached it. Just kept the momentum going right in front of him. Switched like a championship team. Scott thought he saw a little opening, but the big cat was ready to pounce. I mean, they have the classic hitter-setter combination team. I mean, when Uline and Keevens won, they're nationals. They basically had two hitters. Keevens and Uline both hit bombs, hit aggressive overheads, big spin overheads, big serves.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at Flip get in there, and this is some trench warfare, Mikey. Some trench warfare.
Hand-to-hand combat, baby.
Right up there. And this is what the people paid to see. And if they don't think this is exciting, it'd be crazy. The volleyball team has hitters and setters, just like a paddle team. That's the perfect combination. That's the point I was making earlier. And Flip becomes more of a hitter and provides a lot of sneaky offense. And Scott, same thing there. But Jerry and Johan, it's very clear on what their roles are.
And I think a good team and good players, understand that role within that team. And the best teams have that.
Every partner you play with, you have a slightly different role than with your last partner, right?
I think so. And it's sometimes you need to be the setter, and sometimes you need to be the attacker.
And Flip's just he's unfortunately
come to triple match point.
Yeah, down in the dumps, and here we go.
On to serve.
5:40 left. Does anybody believe in miracles? Look at them still fighting. That's what you like about these guys. They're still playing it like they should, lobbing and never giving up. That's why they won 8 of these things. You got to kill them, or they aren't going to beat themselves. And
game, set, and match. Albright and Durant.
congratulations to all 4 for the match, but to their first national championship, Jerry Albright and Johan Durant.
To our 8-time national champions, current Hall of Famers, and tremendous all-around people on and off the court, our 2010 American Platform Tennis Association national finalists, Scott Manziger and Flip Goodspeed. Scott, Flip. It's time to introduce 2 new names, relatively new names, champions of the 2010 National Platform Tennis Association, Johan Durant and Jerry Albright. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Surreal, I guess, like everybody else would say, but I don't know, we didn't expect, though, especially me, I don't know about Jerry. I didn't even expect to get close to the final, so I'm real surprised.
This is our first time together in the Nationals. This is our first season together.
It was a good battle. It's nice, though, when you lose to 2 great guys and a couple of great players. It was actually kind of fun to watch him play.
It was fun watching him, not while you're on the court, I think. But yeah, he was. Once he turned it up, he was unbelievable. He didn't have any weaknesses. Once they got up in the second set, he stopped making mistakes, got more relaxed, confident, and that was it.
As each match went on, we really started believing in ourselves. It was great.
This game is so much about momentum. You fall behind, it's tough to come back. Like this morning when we played, I think the other guys just started slow, and it's tough to come back from it.
The way they ran this tournament was unbelievable. So this is obviously our favorite national so far.
Last thing, where's my puppy? So this is the big dog right here. He's not really very awake right now. He missed the match, I think.